All right, welcome back to another 2021 MLB draft show. Today we are joined by one of the better prep lefties in the entire class. We've got UCLA commit Gage Jump. Gage, thanks for joining the show tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, we're also joined by Ian Smith, who's my co-host. I always forget to introduce Ian. Ian, I'm going to throw it your way. What you got?
It's okay. I'm quiet over here. It's all right. But no, Gage, just thankful to have you on here tonight, man. And just really want to ask you about how your summer went. You kind of showed up to every showcase and had a loud outing, especially at the World Wood Bat Championship. I think we were the best pitcher overall that weekend. Just really talk to me a little bit how your summer went and how you felt this summer.
Yeah, so obviously the season got cut in like March, and I was stressing out, and my old trainer recommended doing the canes, and I never did big travel ball stuff, and it ended up being like one of the best decisions I ever made. You know, this summer was one of the most fun summers I've ever had, so super good experiences with new teammates and just learning everything.
Well, I want to jump right into your stuff because you've got some of the loudest stuff in the class, especially the prep class, coming from the left side. I know you're really proud of your fastball. It's not going to be something that, is 99, but the spin efficiency on it, you touch 94. Can you talk to us a little bit about the fastball, how you've developed it into the pitch that it's become? And then if you just want to kind of develop that, or if you want to lead that conversation into your entire arsenal, tell us about who you are on the mound.
I got on a Rhapsody a few times, and my coach is like, look at the vertical break, that's super uncommon for average pitchers, like MLB pitchers. And I was like, yeah, it's high. And he's like, exactly. So you want to throw up in the zone. So that's what I did this past summer and then during my high school season. And for my curveball, my fastball plays super well on a 12-6. And, I'm just trying to throw that more and try to throw it a little bit faster because I think the break's fine right now. I just need to get it to 78 and I'll be good and just throw it more. And then I added the cutter this summer too because my slider before was too slow. And I was throwing with Walker Buehler one day because my agent's good friends with him. And I was throwing with him and he taught me this cutter. And I fell in love with it. I've been throwing it a lot. It's super easy to command, so I could throw that in any count too. Because when you throw your fastball over and over again, they're going to start to hit it. So I could throw the cutter in any count. And I'm working on my changeup right now. My changeup's always been a good pitch. I just never have the time to throw it just because I throw my fastball so much. But I'm adding a slider right now, and then I'm perfecting the changeup too.
5-pitch mix.
Yeah, the cutter and slider are pretty similar, but the cutter I could throw in any count, and the slider I need to lefties for a wipeout.
Yeah, well, talking about your command a little bit, I mean, I feel like you can command all three pitches with the cutter, the curveball, and the fastball, as well as anybody in the class. It showed up a few times this summer. I think you threw about 75, I think 77% of your pitches for strikes, which is ridiculous. And again, talk to me a little bit more about the data. Your vertical approach angle is almost flat. I think when you're talking about your IVBs, we're getting crazy number. I'm sure they're in the 24s and 25 range, which is outrageous. We've heard about these numbers from you a few months back. We have somebody who's really high on you in the company who has been kept your name going. So just talk to me a little bit about the Rhapsody and a little bit more about the data and what that's done for you this summer.
Yeah, so I mean, luckily my school, J. Sarah, we've always used Rhapsody. And at first, my vertical break wasn't high, and then I started throwing more with my agent, and it for some reason just jumped. I think I changed my mechanics a little bit, and as soon as we saw it was the 20s, upper 20s or mid 20s, then we were like, okay, this is gonna be a really good pitch. And it's just so weird. Sometimes it just changes, but usually my fastball it'll stay from 22 to 24, hopefully. And yeah, I would love this pitch. I'm comfortable with it now, and I throw it everywhere in every count.
I don't think people understand. I mean, you ho hum 22 to 24, but that's pretty insane stuff. I mean, that's 95th, 96th percentile in big league baseball. You've got some nasty stuff on your fastball. I was wondering, do you by chance have a baseball on you, and can you kind of show us how you throw that fastball, and then also a little bit with the curveball and the cutter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mess around with my fastball like right now. I like mess around. I try to just like grip the top seam super hard, but I just throw a normal four seam, and then some like I've been practicing tucking it, and I think that that helps my vertical break. So I just like grip the top really hard, and then at the end I just give a little finger pressure, and it goes like that. And then my curve, I just throw a knuckle curve, and I just try to rip the middle finger down, but keep my wrist still and stiff. And then my cutter, it's exactly like my fastball. This is my fastball, but I just angle it this way a little more.
Hmm.
So I'm just on the side, yeah. And then I also tuck the thumb. So it's like this. And then when I let go, it's already at that side angle. So I just throw that like a fastball.
So you're not ripping it off your middle finger at all like you would with a slider. You're just kind of
No.
letting it go with a different orientation.
Yeah, so the slider, you know, you like go like that with it.
Hmm.
The cutter, I throw it straight back, like down, straight down. But it's already like to the side. So the angle's already there. So it's going to cut at the end.
Interesting. Walker
Yeah.
Bueller hooking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's filthy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
That's awesome. Well, talk to me a little bit about this UCLA commitment. It's a great school, obviously a great school for pitching. And talk to me about how easy that was and the process of going through that.
Yeah, so UCLA has always been number one, number two school for me. And, you know, having Coach Savage be the head coach and the pitch coach and the pitching coach is just another plus. And I believe that he'll make me the best pitcher and develop me into the best pitcher I can be. Just seeing every single one of their pitchers, they don't all just throw hard like Vanderbilt's guys. They all throw gas, but UCLA, they all know how to pitch. You know, they all throw strikes. They all have good changeups, sliders. So I'm really excited what he's going to put me in the position I can be in for that.
Love that. I know, a question that I wanted to ask because it's come up and I think it's something that we'd love to hear your opinion on. You're not, that 6'4" guy. You're a little bit smaller in stature, but you got the 5-pitch mix. You've got some of the nastiest spin efficiencies and movement profiles in the class. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gage, but you're like 5'10".
Yeah.
Coming from a guy your size, how do you kind of process and handle when people say, oh, reliever risk, but you've obviously, you pitched more innings than anyone at WWBA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when people talk about my size, I honestly love it because it just makes me work harder, And then I just look at Marcus Stroman, he's not even like 5'9", he's like 5'7" at most, I think.
Yeah.
And he's a beast out there, You don't have to be 6'4". If you can move it, like I move really well, I'm mobile and flexible. So if I just keep all that, I think I'll be as good as the guys that are 6'8". So,
really quick, Ian, I would dare anyone else in the league to try and beat out Gage and his vertical approach angle. It's flat. You're not going to find anyone that has a more explosive fastball at the top of the zone. Not for my money, at least. So
not going to happen. And talking about the 6-foot pitchers, mentioned some guys like Stroman. There's Walker Bueller is another guy who's not very huge in stature. Max Myers, another kid who went extremely high, was a smaller pitcher. But that was not where I was leaning into my next question here. But where I was going with this is talking about being a starter. That's something you've wanted to do as long as you pitch. There was never a reliever option for you. You've developed your mix to be a pitcher long term, and to be a starter long term. And how do you think that development has went over the last 12 months?
Yeah, I've always been a starter, and it's so weird. Ever since I was on Canes, the first tournament, honestly, I think like the first 4 I closed and like relieved, and I didn't really like it, but it's different, and I'm glad that they put me in those positions. And then they finally gave me the start, and then they're like, all right, we're going to keep having you start. But, I love starting, being the first pitcher out there. I don't care whether it's against any team. I'll start against anyone. But, yeah, if I'm a reliever or closer, I'll do it. But starting is definitely my priority.
And one more question to follow up on the summer just a little bit. Do you have any guys that you think stood out to you as an at-bat this summer that was just a tough at-bat, a guy that really gave you trouble? I know you saw probably guys a few times over the course of the showcase event. So was there one or two guys that really stood out for you?
Not really in particular. I mean, I faced like Lawler and House, but the at bats I had with them weren't like long. I
Yeah.
got them 0-2 and then I like messed up, I think. So, I mean, there wasn't anyone in particular that I was like, okay. I mean, Benny Montgomery, I saw him when we were at WWBA. He had a miss, so it wasn't off me, but his swing looked really good. But yeah, off me, not one person. I was like, oh, this is a really hard at bat.
Yeah, your stat line supports that.
Absolutely.
I want to get back to your pitch mix a little bit because you really, I mean, I think more than anyone this summer took jumps. No pun intended. Really, you really kind of went to another level. I mean, the fastball is up from 89 to 91 up to 91 to 94 now. Curveball is really, really developed. I mean, when we first saw it in June, it was a little loopier. Now it's a real power curve. Cutter has come a long way. Kind of what do you attribute your growth to this summer? Is it just repetition, or what did you do different?
Honestly, learning from the guys on the Canes too, that helped me a lot. Just new experiences with everyone. But yeah, repetition for sure. I was pitching a lot. And before, I would only pitch like maybe once every 3 weeks, but I was pitching like every single like other week, and I just got used to it. I was throwing bullpens every week when I was home, and then when I was in tournaments, it just felt natural. And all my pitches, even at the beginning of summer, I know my curve was a little loopier, but my fastball was still on point, and the cutter was too. So when I was in those tournaments, it was just like I was back at home throwing a pen.
Got comfortable. Well, tell me what you need to do now to take that next step, whether it's in the weight room or your nutrition. What do you need to do to either gain velocity or become the pitcher that you want to be at the next level?
Yeah, so right now I've been training extremely hard, just because I want to be in the best position I could be for the draft, or going to college. But yeah, nutrition, I've been taking that super seriously. Usually before like my junior year, I just ate whatever I wanted, but right now I need the most protein I can get. I'm trying to bulk up. And then in the weight room, I've been doing this remote program with Driveline, and I think I'm going to have big strides for this season and before the draft, so I'm super excited.
I probably hear that.
Yeah, I got to ask one more question because UCLA is just a fantastic landing spot for you, but it does sound like you've had your heart set, or you've had dreams of becoming a big leaguer. I got to ask, what would it mean for you to be drafted in the draft next year and put yourself in a position to debut with a big league club?
That's the goal, obviously, to get to the MLB and like become a Hall of Famer and stuff like that. But it just depends on the day. If the opportunity's there, I'll take it. But right now, going to college, I think will put me in the best position with Savage, and he's going to make me the best pitcher I can be. So I'm excited for both. It's a win-win, honestly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
that's all I have for you.
Yeah,
Gage.
Ian, I don't have any more baseball questions, but I definitely want to ask a question to keep you on your feet. It's how we like to finish these. Interviews. We've had some different guys from the circuit comment on what their favorite music is, what their favorite food is, who's the worst dresser for Canes. Get a lot of Cole Messina as an answer across the board. I want to ask you though, who's got the worst taste in let's go with fashion. Who's the worst dresser for Canes?
I gotta go with, I don't want to put him on like this, but Curtis Reed wears some weird shoes, He wears some like neon Nikes and stuff, but I mean his fits usually go hard, but one day he wore like these neon shoes. I don't like them. Nah, he's funny too though. They're all funny.
Oh well, we'll have to relay that back to Curtis. But
yeah.
Gage, hey man, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. As I mentioned pre-show, we're really excited to see where you go. I mean, you've got some of the most underrated stuff in this entire class. So again, thanks for joining us tonight, and you take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All righty, man.
Thanks a lot, Gage.